We're all learning as we go, and mistakes will happen. That's okay. Your goal is connection, not perfection. It can help to be aware of some of the common pitfalls when it comes to supporting a child or teen through transition. The first thing to be aware of is our instinct to minimize a young person's experience. This usually comes from a good place. We want to take their pain away, and we hope that if we make the situation seem like not such a big deal, it will somehow ease what they're feeling. But here's the thing. Trying to shrink their feelings rarely helps. More often, it makes them feel like we don't get it. Or worse, that they're wrong for feeling the way that they do. Statements like, everyone goes through this, or it's not a big deal, can make a young person feel unseen or misunderstood. We might not even realize that we're doing this because it can be so subtle. I'm going to give you 3 words to watch for: just, only, and always. Let's start with just. In challenging moments, just can come across as dismissive or invalidating. For example, it was just one test. It was just one college. There are others out there. It was just a goldfish. We can get you another. Even when we mean well, just can minimize a young person's feelings. The word only can do something similar. It can shrink a young person's experience down to something we think shouldn't hurt. This might sound like telling a teen after a breakup, "You're only 15. It's not like you were going to marry them." Or saying to a child who didn't get the part they wanted, "It's only a school play." And then there's always. It may not sound dismissive, but it often lands that way. Telling a young person who didn't make the soccer team, "You can always try again next year," might not feel as comforting as you intended. And saying, "You can always make new friends," to a child who just moved and is grieving the loss of their peer relationships can feel equally invalidating. These words aren't bad, but in hard moments, they can unintentionally minimize a child or teen's emotions. Another pitfall to watch for is the impulse to fix the situation. This often shows up as platitudes or toxic positivity. Platitudes are those automatic, familiar phrases we've all heard and maybe even used ourselves. Things like, "Everything happens for a reason," or "Life doesn't give us more than we can handle." On the surface, they might sound comforting, but underneath they often send the message, "You shouldn't be feeling what you're feeling," or "I'm uncomfortable with your feelings." In other words, they invalidate the emotions we're trying to honor. Toxic positivity happens when we treat constant happiness as the goal, no matter the situation. It's not realistic, and when someone is suffering, it can actually deepen their pain. Comments like, "Just stay positive," "Everything will work out if you have a good attitude," or "You're lucky it wasn't more serious," usually come from good intentions. But the impact is that the child or teen feels unseen or even shamed. And pretty much no helpful sentence ever started with the words, "at least." Resist the urge to say things like, "At least we figured out your diagnosis early," "At least you didn't fail the whole class," or "At least the move wasn't across the country." These phrases often come from a desire to comfort, but they usually do the opposite. They suggest that things could be worse, which undercuts a young person's right to feel what they feel. Tough love is another trap to avoid. Saying, "Get over it," or "You need to move on," dismisses a child's pain and can leave them feeling inadequate. Even well-meant phrases like "stay strong" or "you've got this" can backfire. Instead of encouragement, they can create pressure and make a young person think they're wrong for struggling. The last pitfall I want to touch on is comparison. It's usually not helpful to compare a child or teen who's struggling to siblings, peers, or even yourself. Avoid saying things like, "Your sister never acted like this," or "I had to deal with way worse when I was your age." Comments like these can make a young person feel ashamed or inadequate. Instead of motivating them, they can shut down communication. Comparison shifts the focus away from their experience and sends the message that their feelings don't measure up, which is the opposite of what they need in moments of struggle. If you're silently groaning, thinking about times you've used these words or phrases, you're not alone. We've all done it. This isn't about blame or shame. The thing is, most of these responses come from a good place. We want to support the kids and teens in our lives. We just may not have been taught the most helpful ways to do that.